Hello, my name is Mariah and I am a intuitive healer and channel. Um, and on my YouTube channel, I share my own channeling, healing tips, general things about spirituality, aliens sometimes if I want to. Basically, just anything related to the higher dimensions because that's what I love talking about and sharing about. And today I'm talking about energetic boundaries because this is a huge one that's coming up right now for a lot of people. I've been seeing a lot of people who are in the same kind of healing work that I do as a light worker and a channel be met with a lot of tests to their boundaries. And a lot of them are finding out that they actually don't have very strong boundaries and they need to set stronger ones. Um, so, first, I just want to describe a little bit more what I mean about energetic boundaries. So, an energetic boundary to me is a boundary that you set with intention, visualization, prayer, with working with your divine support team about the energy of yourself and your bodies, like astral, physical, mental, spiritual, all your bodies. um, and, I hear a lot of talk about boundaries here in the physical, which is, again, hugely important, of course, such as having boundaries with your friends or family members. Myself specifically, because I am a practitioner in this, I have to set a lot of boundaries with my clients. And, you'll notice this too if you are beginning to step up in this kind of healing work. Typically what happens is your boundaries are tested and you'll find a lot of people coming out of the woodworks asking you for your help for free without giving you anything in exchange: money, time, testimonials, anything. And that's actually very draining when you're doing this kind of work. So it's very, very, very important to set the energetic boundaries first. Somebody else who talks about this a lot in more of like a grounded sense with money is Amanda Frances. So if you're looking for money related boundaries, I would definitely check out her stuff. Again, her name is Amanda Frances. She is amazing. She's just like the money queen, obviously. Um, so yeah, so that's what energetic boundaries are, is deciding that you're not available for certain things anymore. And you set this with intention, you set it with a healer, you can set it on your own, with your guides, anything like that. And sometimes it literally looks like literal energy boundaries in your mind's eye. It can, for me, it shows up as a lot of white light surrounding me. As like that's my biggest energetic boundary, is that I'm always surrounded by white light, so nothing negative that does not match the vibration of love can get in. And I've worked very hard to keep that very strong. So if you are a spiritual person, perhaps if you're new to spirituality, but I've even seen this with people who are very well spiritually versed, and you're experiencing still a lot of drainage, a lot of feelings like you need something on the external to give you energy, such as like coffee, certain kinds of teas. I know there's certain mushrooms that people eat as well for energy. Or if you're like fully relying on things like Reiki and healing and not seeing any physical progress in how you feel, and you're still always feeling drained, you probably need to work on your energetic boundaries. And really check in with your guides and your energy to see where there might be any leakages in your aura and in your fields, because that's where a lot of negative stuff can get in. If you have these holes. They can be, wounds from a past life. They can be karma that you've built up now, built up before. This leaves a window for really draining energy to come in. So aside from just like drainage, if you don't have very strong energetic boundaries and you're stepping up in your spiritual practice and in your light work, you may also just be feeling like really anxious, really confused, really fearful for no reason. You may have money problems, and that's why I do recommend checking out Amanda Francis's stuff. If you're a spiritual person and you're still completely broke, that shouldn't happen. Like the whole thing about walking the path of the light is that you get to be fully supported as you do that. And having money is not in any way a reflection of how spiritual or like unspiritual you are, if that makes sense. Like you don't have to be broke to be spiritual. That's something that I a lot has been coming up a lot for me lately. When I've been talking to other people, they are surprised that I charge for my services and that I charge for events that I run and stuff like that at the price that I feel I am worthy of at that time. And you get to do that. And if you're still in the mindset that you can't charge for those things, or people shouldn't receive lots of money for doing those things, you get to do that too. So working on your energetic boundaries with money is huge for that. Something else as well is you might be feeling lost. You could be feeling like you haven't found your people. That's a big one too with energetic boundaries, is letting in the wrong people all the time. And a huge one is you always find yourself drained by other people and interactions with other people. And you experience a lot of energetic vampires. And I'll go into more detail on that in another video, but an energetic vampire to me specifically is somebody who hasn't integrated the light into their body, and they are operating more on the lower dimensions in the physical. So they could be addicted to drugs, material things, really just way too much in their ego, and the ego thrives off of the energy of other people as well. So if you've ever dealt with an energy vampire before, it's obviously very draining. But the more that you work on your energetic boundaries, the more you're just totally unavailable for energy vampires. You're just like not on their radar because you're not open to them, so they just will find somebody else. And just a little bit more about that because I've experienced a lot of that in my friendships. And this happens to a lot, I see this all the time, a lot of just lovely, usually girls, who are people pleasers, like I have been in the past, and I'm working really hard to shift that, where you can attract people who have energy vampire tendencies, and typically you can end up in a codependent relationship with them. Like for me it was a lot of friendships, but it can be romantic, where they just take advantage of your light and your people pleasing, and you just keep giving and giving and giving because they keep taking and taking and you keep giving, and it's just it's not nice. So the more that you work on your energetic boundaries, the more that you just they don't even come to you and try to be your friend because you're not on that level anymore. You're not open to that. Something else, if your energetic boundaries aren't very strong, is you can, on kind of the worst side of things, experience a lot of negative attachments to different entities. They can be demons. I've seen that before, especially in family lineage demons. And what I mean by that is, you know, it might not be yours or the person that you're dealing with. It could be ancestral, and maybe like a few generations back you had a grandparent or a great grandparent who screwed around with the wrong stuff and took a deal with the demon. And you know, if they passed away, the demon is looking for fresh blood and fresh energy, essentially. But again, if you have strong energetic boundaries, they won't even come to you because they're not able to attach to you. Also, this can show up in nightmares. I've seen that a lot with people who don't have strong energetic boundaries, is they'll have just really awful dreams and nightmares. And why that is because every night when we go to sleep, our body, our astral body leaves our physical and goes to the astral realms, and that's how we dream. And when we wake up, we typically can't remember our dreams because the left brain doesn't know how to properly interpret that experience for us, and like quantify it analytically, because we're always trying to quantify stuff in our brain. So, you know, I talk about this a lot, but that's why it's so important to have your bedroom and your house energetically clear. And you can even have energetic boundaries like around your home, around your room, around your bed. I do it like all around the house, and I just put wherever I'm staying in this bubble of white light. And that's my energetic boundary. And, you know, I think a lot of people think that it's more complicated than it is, but it really is a lot of intentional work. It's a lot of working with your own guides and kind of seeing how you should set the boundaries, because it is different person to person. And that's something that I really want to stress, that when I, you know, just toss in the kind of stuff that I do, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you, in your path, in your energy. What I do for myself works for me. I also know a lot of different methods that I use with my clients and stuff like that, because I'm able to work with them one-on-one and figure out what works for them. So of course, try anything that I'm mentioning, but just as an aside, you know, what I do works for me in my practices. And you know, and I say that because I have to tell different things to my clients. And, you know, I can't give recommendations without that one-on-one contact, if you know what I mean. But anyways, by setting the energetic boundary, you just become unavailable for all that stuff that I mentioned. And when you do set an energetic boundary and you set the intention that like, no, I'm not available for this anymore, I'm only available for such and such and such, or, you know, you can make a contract, you can do a bunch of different things to set your energetic boundaries. And honestly, like, once I really started to do this, like, my energy was just like, especially if you're a healer or a light worker in any sense and you work with clients, you need strong boundaries for sure, because even just having the physical boundaries with a person, as like, you know, you can talk to me from here to here, and this is what I offer and this is what I don't offer. The energetic boundaries are huge, because you don't know what kind of stuff they have attached to them, you know, before hopping on a call or something like that. And so that's why it's important to not like deal with that after you receive the attachment, but just to set the energetic boundary that you aren't available for, you know, anything low vibrational, and that you have the boundary to actually work with people who may have those attachments and not let them attach to you. And that's, I think, the biggest help here, is making sure that doesn't happen to you by setting the energetic boundaries. And, you know, once you do set these energetic boundaries, you will feel like so much better. You will experience much more abundance. That's something huge. And that's why I talk about the money thing too, because money is energy. So if you set energetic boundaries around money, you're going to experience more abundance, more prosperity that is just naturally our birthright. And we are supposed to be fully provided for, and we do a lot of stuff to block that, actually, which is unfortunate. And you can also expect to experience a lot more positive dreams. This was the biggest thing for me, is that once I set these boundaries a while ago, I stopped having the nightmares, and I was actually, because our dreaming is really just astral travel, and you will be on whatever level or dimension or realm or whatever you want to call it, that you already are in the waking life. So if you're neutral, maybe you'll have like neutral dreams. But if you have strong energetic boundaries and you said, I'm only available for the frequency of love, you can have a lot more meaningful dreams with your guides, with your angels, aliens, with, a lot more loving entities who can offer you a lot of really useful advice in your dream state, because you're astrally with them, and you'll remember them more because it'll just come down into your physical. And yeah, basically, once you set the energetic boundaries, you can expect your life just to be a lot more smooth. And the thing, too, about setting the energetic boundaries is that it shows up in the physical a lot. So once you do that, there might be a transition period where you're met with a lot of tests to these boundaries, where, the universe is like, okay, yeah, you just set this boundary. Are you going to stick to it in the physical? Are you going to say no to this? Are you going to say yes to this? And like kind of tests like that, just to see if you're just going to crumble again, and you need to learn another lesson, or if you're ready to move on. And that's the most beautiful thing with the energetic boundaries, is that once you set it, it's a lot easier to stick to your physical boundaries as well. So if you're somebody who is spiritually open and you're still experiencing a lot of like drainage, nightmares, negative attachments, things like that, then I would really consider strengthening your energetic boundaries. And I do this one-on-one with my clients. If you're interested in what a session with me would look like, I offer free consults, just to make sure that I'm the right person to help you, which will be down below as well. As always, make sure to like and subscribe this video, and I'll keep doing them. Also, let me know if you like hearing about this kind of stuff, and if you want me to talk more about something that I mentioned, like, I don't know, aliens or negative entities or anything like that. I would love to know. I'm gonna post about it anyways, but I would love to know like where the interest is, and how much I should put into one subject versus another. And yeah, that's all for me. I will talk to you later. Bye bye.